So what is the core challenge here? The core challenge is that there really isn't a formal new model yet. That's the core challenge. Like I've been evangelizing, thinking about things differently, and we've been working on figuring it out with companies in real life. And we have processes and ways of thinking and ways of reporting, but are in the process. We have not yet published, but we're in the process of rolling that all up to say, this is how you think about your operating model. These are the stages that you're optimizing for. This is the data model that you're going to use. This is how you're going to measure things. These are how things are calculated. This is how it moves downstream into revenue strategy. Here are the frequencies that you report. Here is the data that you report on a standardized way. Here's what you show the board. That's what we need. And so there's a couple of key elements in there about why a lot of companies struggle with the change. Without actually having a tangible new model, people will always regress back to what they feel is safe, especially for executives that aren't necessarily truly involved in go-to-market, CEO, CFO, other ones like that. They need to see something from an analyst firm or some company that they trust that shows them what they should do, which was made by a bunch of people in a boardroom, not in real life implementing it with companies. And so I think there's another sort of underlying theme here that having right now, when you think about the strategy, it goes, an analyst firm develops your operating model, the demand waterfall. Then there is no standardized data model. So you're just using MQL, SQL, SQO. It's subjective and it's different in every company, and that's clear in the data that I look at. So no standardized data model. Then you go into revenue strategy. So the execs and maybe some consultants you hire go and figure out, how are we going to achieve these KPIs, MQL, SQL, SQO? What are the things that we're going to do to achieve these KPIs? Then they decide what tools they're going to need to buy in order to measure those things and to execute those things effectively. So then they go out and buy the tools around how to get more MQLs and SQLs and SQOs. And then they have their in-house team and their agency team use those tools and things to optimize for those standard core KPIs. And you can see the baton passing between an analyst firm that doesn't execute in real life to no data model to executives, and then through the tech vendors and the tools. What I'm calling out here is there's no feedback loop from execution to the operating frameworks. And the feedback loop can't just be qualitative, like we implemented your ABM waterfall and we're happy and doing great and our ACV is up 7%. That is not enough. There has to be a feedback loop through a standardized data model that looks at a lot of companies that then updates the operating model as if it was an operating system. And so the data model and the operating model should be updating all the time. New features, new things, all companies run on it. They can get benchmarks out of it. And then it pushes into execution. It pushes back. You get individual learnings and you compare that against a large set of companies. That is how companies are going to run their go-to-market, where your go-to-market engine gets smarter every day, not every 5 years. And I really want to hammer home this point. The only way your go-to-market truly gets smarter is with large-scale aggregated data, comparing a lot of companies like you to your own performance and finding the trends and patterns. You can make incremental changes with your own data, but you'll still not, without having the broader view, you'll never get real accelerated innovation. Companies have been looking at their own data and making decisions about this since we've had digital innovation. For the past 20 years, they've been looking at least some data in an ERP, and then we moved into a CRM. Now we have marketing automation and a trillion other tools. Companies have been looking at their own data and making strategy decisions the whole time. And do they get smarter? Yeah, they get incrementally smarter over time, but there's no breakthrough changes.